When the Tunisians rose up against their dictator, Ben Ali, in 2010, the women and men together went on the street and rose up against him in recognition of the fact that the regime or the state oppresses everybody. The state oppresses men and women. But we as women have to recognize that there is a trifecta of oppression. And that trifecta of oppression has on one point of the triangle the state, which oppresses everyone, another point the street, and another point the home. And together this trifecta oppresses women specifically. When we look at the countries that had uprisings and revolutions in the Middle East and North Africa now, Tunisia, Egypt, all the other countries, we see that just strictly on the political level, things are very grim. We're stuck in this power struggle between men fighting other men for power. The military, the Muslim Brotherhood, the so-called rebel groups in Syria, all the different tribal factions in Libya, what's happening in Yemen. It's all men fighting men, and we're still stuck on this top level here. That top level and that political revolution will never succeed without a social and a sexual revolution. And the social and the sexual revolution are the revolution against what I call the Mubarak on the street corner and the Mubarak in the bedroom, but primarily the Mubarak in the mind. And it's important to talk about these social and sexual revolutions because these various forms of dictators, Mubaraks or Ben Alis or Assad, whatever you want to call them, they all specifically and together oppress women, the state, the street, and the home. So the sexual revolution, which would begin in the home and on the street, because these are the same men that go back and forth between the home and the street, liberates women from all these different forms of oppression. Without a doubt, men have greater sexual freedom and greater social freedom in the Middle East or North Africa. I'm often told nobody is free in the region because we live under dictatorships. That is true, but that's if you look at it just from that top of the triangle, which is the state, because it oppresses men and women. But men who are on the street and in the home oppress women specifically, and the state allows them and sometimes encourages them to do that. That's why we need a sexual revolution. That's why we need a social revolution. So this is how the revolution, I believe, has begun something irreversible. If you look just at the political level, things are a mess in Egypt. We haven't had parliament for 3 years. The judges are corrupt. They have incredibly unfair trials in which they sentence so many people to death in 5 minutes. The police is brutal. Our jails are full of political prisoners. There's torture, there's corruption, and we have a fascist dictator from the military. So politically it's a mess. But this social sexual revolution I'm talking about has already begun.